Alright, sprint script makes you go fast, zoomy zoom speed when you press shift. Simple. So first you're going to need a local script in the starter player scripts. You could name it something fancy like sprint script or something like that. And this works. And I'm going to use two variables, the current state, and set that initially as false, and then prev state equals false, and you'll see why I have those, and then make a repeat until put in a wait. I prefer to have my scripts run at 20 TPS, but you can change it to whatever you want, really. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is have a for loop. For the value of a table, and table is game get service user input service, and then what we need is the get keys pressed function, which returns a table of all the keys pressed, and this table will iterate through all of the keys, and then we do a simple if v dot key code is equal to the enum of key code left shift. Then we have the current state set to true. Now I'm going to set the current state to false just before this. No, I don't want to indent that. Do that. And this is a fairly simple thing so far. Now, we're going to need something in replicate storage, a remote event. Name it something like sprint, in case you have multiple of them. So, game get service replicate storage dot sprint, and then fire server, and then current state. Now, a check I like to do is check the current state against the last state. So if current state is not equal to previous state, then it will send, and this helps save a bit of bandwidth, so that you're not constantly sending the state when you don't need it. And once this happens, current state equals previous state. This helps save packets and whatnot, unclutters stuff, so yeah. Next, you're going to need a script in the workspace. You could name it something like sprint manager, something of the sort. And then game get service replicate storage dot sprint dot on server event connect function with parameters of the player who sent it and the sprinting, if they are or not, as a boolean. What you're going to want to do is if workspace find first child player is not nil, then just goes through this, and I'm actually going to store this as a variable called player find. You can make it local if you want to appease the Roblox bug warning, but it really doesn't have to, since this is a pretty isolated script. So if the found player is nil, then, or if it's not nil, then it'll do this. So if sprint I'm just going to copy paste it because I am lazy. Sprinting is true. Then, and then we have an else state, and I'm not going to make an else if for the reason that in the event that somehow a value other than a Boolean gets sent over, then it won't cause an error. Player find dot humanoid dot walk speed equals, we can set something like 30. That's a very excessive number, but for the sake of demonstration, it works. And then else set to the default of 16. And there you go. It's going to remove some of those spaces and all that. And here we go. This is a very functional piece of code. I'm going to just remove some of the excess spaces, and we should see. Hopefully there's no errors, and, you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Like this, it is not doing something, who knows what. I feel like, oh yeah, right. That's because I mixed up the order of previous state, current state. Previous state should be set to the value of current state and not the other way around. Very rookie mistake to make of me. I'm kind of an idiot. You shouldn't be listening to my coding advice, but sure enough, wow, he goes zooming. Now, this is okay code right here, you know. It's very simple, but it runs across the issue of expandability. What if you want to expand your code so that other things can increase your speed? So what I like to do is massively over-engineer this. So I'm going to disable these scripts right here and start a new one. Actually, we can keep this existing sprint script, these ones, and what I'm going to do is comment it out. So comment that portion out. What I'm going to do is add a script in the starter player scripts, and we're going to create a whole condition system and a remote event for calmed. And we're going to create an empty table. This will store all the conditions. So repeat till 1 equals 2. So it's just going to go forever. Just go over like that. For IV in pairs conditions, I'm going to name V condition and do so we're going to need a way to trigger the function. Make sure you put this before your repeat until loop, otherwise it won't connect. So script.parent, yeah, actually no, we can just do script.const, and then dot on server event. Actually, no, this does not need to be remote event. It needs to be a bindable event. Now, the difference between a remote event and bindable event is a bindable event is server to server communication, while a remote event is client to server and server to client. You want server to server communication in this case because you don't want a client firing their own condition system, because that could easily lead to some pretty nasty exploits where players can do whatever they want, really. And boom, on vent connect function, and now there's going to be some parameters. We're going to do the I'm gonna have really bad names. The thing, like what you want to do, how to remove a thing. We're also gonna have condition, the amount and the length of the condition right there, passing 4 parameters through. And yeah. So we're also going to pass a name. So conditions name equals, we have a table and then store it. No, global. Oh, I'm spelling, and then duration equals length. And this right here, we do if thing equals add. So if it's adding a condition, boom, there we go. Expected then. Oop. My bad. And in the event that we're removing a condition, we can just set it to nil, like so. I'm also going to put in something where if the existing name for it is not nil, then it will simply update the value instead of doing a full override. So what that would entail is a simple thing where conditions name dot duration equals length, and that's good enough actually. So back to the for loop. Wait, where's it displaying an error? Oh, alright, over here, that doesn't matter. Alright, so for each thing in the table, we are first going to make some things here. So because I want to modify the player's speed, I'm going to make a variable called speed mod. And we set that to 1 because this is going to be a multiplicative applied thing. Some people don't like multiplicative. If you want to have an additive bonus, then you code it for an additive bonus. Also, at the beginning here, I'm going to get the base speed, and then we can set that to script.parent.humanoid walk speed, and this will be used for calculating the end speed. So at the end here, we're just going to have the script.parent.humanoid walk speed, and then set that to base speed times speed mod. It's a very, I won't call it an elegant solution, but whatever. Now, first I'm going to start on the duration tick down. So condition dot duration equals, or we can just do minus equals 1. That's a simple way of putting it. Then we also check if condition dot duration is less than or equal to 0, then conditions and the I equals nil. We remove it from the table if the duration has ran out. So that covers the duration. Now, this is going to be kind of sloppy code, so if condition dot condition, I know I didn't name these too well, but it works. Then, so that's in the event that you want more speed. It's just called speed mod times equals. I'm just gonna do that for now, and then condition dot mount. There you go. So now you have this adjust the duration, factors in the amount, condition. So, I can actually uncomment this code. And instead, player find dot conditions dot cond, and then fire. And what we're going to send through here is add speed, because that's condition. The amount, I prefer a 1.5 times speed bonus, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to crank that up to 2. And then it needs a length. Now, I'm just going to use math.huge for this because it's infinite and you don't want your sprint timer like stopping abruptly because you set it to a finite number. You could integrate your own stamina system if you really want to, but this is a very simple system relatively. And then as the name for it, sprint. That's going to be the indexed name of it. And what we can do here, we can just set this to like remove speed, and we don't even have to pass these functions to it because, yeah, we can just pass nil through because it's only looking for the name. So if the name matches, it doesn't care about these. Alright, and there you have your over-engineered sprint code, and I'm going to bet you there's going to be an error, probably a mistype somewhere. Oh, no errors, but it doesn't work. Huh. Oh, I misspelt it. Whew, alright. Be a better speller than you are a programmer. And you see, of course, it works flawlessly with minimal delay. Of course. Yeah, now we are zooming. It just goes to show that programming is like masochism, but there's no payoff. It's just pain. Anyway, that's how you make the simple and over-engineered sprint scripts. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.